Yeah, was not planning on doing this. Believe it or not, guys, I was 2 seconds from going to lay down to get some sleep, and I checked this one last time, and I could probably pretty much guarantee you nobody else is out here talking about this yet, because I seen it right when it happened. That's not important, but I'm just saying it. I'm telling you that just because you need to know how fresh this is. This is just now happening. No, I don't sleep, Jill. Just so you know. So I'm not gonna make. I'm gonna bring up the screen here, and yeah, I'm gonna let some people trickle in. I think for a minute. Hey, Missy, and then we'll get to it. I want to make sure everybody gets this. Yeah, let's see your stream health. It says we're good. Listen, guys, this solar flare, obviously it hits on the day side, and that's right where we're at. Now this is hitting right over top of the South Atlantic anomaly again. This happened, a few weeks, last week, and so that's why my stream is probably just good instead of excellent where it's usually at. This could cause some issues. Again, guys, I haven't seen anything like this in over a year, maybe even longer. This is definitely the biggest flare we've had this solar cycle. Okay? Within a year. I mean, look at that right away, and that's not even as powerful as it was. This is fading off right now. So we'll go up here and we'll take a look where I first seen it, and I stopped. I was like, oh my gosh, look at that. Okay? Now, this is a good way for me to show you guys what I mean about why it's important our base level is up. Because this would not have gotten into M class if we were down here. So you guys understand that now? Because that would have just been C classes, and that's just where we've been experiencing this all week. Small little pops, and it's been giving us some ionized atmosphere anyway, and we've been seeing some brownouts with radio problems already. Now, those of you guys who have been here on my channel a while, you've probably never even seen me show you an R-1. That's right here. This thing almost got up into an R2, which would have been a very high class M flare. That's as far as we got, almost to an X flare. Now, this is really the first year into our new solar cycle. We're coming out of solar minimum, but we're just barely coming out of it, and we're seeing flares like this. I'm not saying it ain't unheard of, but remember, guys, that we had that big ejection off the backside. And this is what I've been talking about for a while now. We can't sit back and just think this stuff ain't going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it is most certainly a matter of when. Now, this is not catastrophic. I don't want anybody to get that kind of idea. But I do want to let you guys know that this is a strong one. This is not a wuss. This is something that this community hasn't seen in quite some time. So with that being said, this also will show you that we're talking about X-rays here, not geomagnetism. See how low the geomagnetic activity level still is? To be honest with you, I'm kind of surprised that I can even be on here right now. I didn't, again, this doesn't typically affect electricity all that great right at the beginning. It's more of a radio thing, okay, because we're talking X-rays. We're not talking magnetism. When we're talking magnetism, then we got to talk about electricity. You see what I'm saying? So we got the R-1 here. Now again, they can't really predict very accurately when we're going to see this kind of stuff. That's why they don't put predictions here. They sometimes will give us a percentage of the chances of it, but they never ever put like an R-1 next to this. That's why they put the geomagnetic storm here, because they are able to predict that, because it takes it longer to get here. They know when it leaves the sun, and then they have days to be able to post it to give people warning. This is how fast stuff happens. This is what I mean. When if this thing was if God forbid it was way up here, chances are, guys, I couldn't even give you any kind of even an update, because it probably would affect our communications. I mean, it's directly. Now, we're going to go down here and we're going to look at this, and I want you guys to see that, I've been showing you guys this. It's kind of odd because I had never shown you guys this before, and now all of a sudden this is happening. And again, it's because of my own lack of research why I had never showed you guys this before. I had to go learn what this was even telling us. But look at this. To give you reference, the flare I showed you guys last night, well, in the morning there, about 6 hours ago, it was down here. That's as high as it went. And we were getting, that's the one that was right over top where that big volcano erupted. But again, look at the pinpoint of this. Where's that at? That's the South Atlantic anomaly we've been talking about. Now, I'm not saying it had anything to do with why that flare popped off. I'm just saying that's the part of the Earth that was actually facing the sun when it blew. Okay? That's all I'm saying when I'm talking about this. So let me push play on this, and we'll take a look at this. Guys, I'm looking at this for the first time too, just like you are. I'm not, I seen that flare pop off, and I knew I was going to have to come live just so you guys could see it. So I haven't looked at this all the way. Now, remember, if we were to back up an hour or two here, a little bit more probably, we had that other flare I just showed you, and here's where that volcano popped off, was right here. So, when did the 7 days start? We talking about 7 days. You kind of got me kind of confused, lower class. Sorry. Like when I was telling you guys to pay attention, give you guys like a week and a half, that kind of thing. If that's what you're speaking about, that's been about 3 or 4 days ago. Guys, with all this activity in these sunspots, I really was not comfortable not saying that, because I thought for sure something was going to happen, and here we go. So I'm gonna do this slow so you guys can see this. I want you guys to get a good look at this. So let me you guys, you had a power surge, Lisa? Yeah, I don't think that had anything to do with the flare. Probably not. I wouldn't think. This is going to have more to do with radio propagations and things like that. I guess it could affect some satellites, but watch this thing, guys. Okay, it fires off, and then look what it does. It had a little smaller one, right? This is X-rays, is what you're looking at here, hitting our ionosphere. Okay, hitting our atmosphere. So it kind of dies off again. You think maybe that's it, right? No. This is how fresh this is, because you see how close I am to the end of the play bar here. Okay, you see how that happens, just like that. Bam. Then it keeps going, and people are like, "What?" Look, this thing goes up to 35, and it's off the chart. Okay, so yeah. No, we're not X-Men yet. Well, MJ Mama, I mean, you're right that it's over that, but look how far the ionization goes out. So, what I'm saying, guys, is the fact that this is something that we should talk about, obviously, but this is also something that, believe it or not, guys, I'm completely blindsided by something like this, because even though I said we were going to see some activity, I didn't expect this kind of stuff. This is something that, like I said, we're going to see more and more of this as we get into the solar cycle deeper. But the fact of the matter is, I don't think nobody was talking about this ever. Not this early. Not this early in the sun cycle. What's catastrophic? Catastrophic would be X flare, high X flare. Okay, let me point that out, because that's a great question there, lower class. Seriously. You know, and so let's keep moving with this and see how it's starting to die down a little bit. Okay, and then that's the last data we get. Notice on the end there though, how this is spreading this way, and the reason why is because the Earth's rotating, and the day side of the sun, day side of the Earth, is where the brunt of this will be felt. And you can see how it goes around. You know, this is all done by time, obviously. Yes, it was real close, guys, to go. You know, I can't tell you how close this was to getting into a really, really dangerous situation. As far as I'm concerned, you get into X class, fired right at us. Here's my thing. I haven't even looked at the sun yet, guys. We're going to go take a look at it together here in just a second. But my guess is there's probably a CME that fired off with this too. This is a big enough flare that it would almost be crazy to think there ain't some sort of an ejection right along with this. But you see the line here where it got to. There's a reason they draw that line right there. This is an R-1, and that right there is that would be an R-2. R-3 is that big of an area on an X flare. So we were probably, I'm not sure exactly where this came in at as far as the M level, but it would be obviously on the higher end of it. Looks like about a, oh, I don't know, an M6 maybe. It's kind of what it looks like. Maybe an M7 at the best, I would think. So that's how close we came to actually getting into X flare type. What's the difference between a CME and a solar flare? I actually have a playlist, guys. If you guys want to go back and watch that, I can give you a quick definition of that. The basic difference, guys, is the flare. When it flares, it's an X-ray burst. Okay, it's moving at the speed of light. It's here and gone in less than 8 minutes as far as the initial bump. Okay, a coronal mass ejection, a CME, is plasma that leaves the sun. It's charged particles. Okay, that's the difference. It takes it 3 to 5 days for a CME to get here. That's why we get a warning on that. That is the only reason. Okay, but again, you know, you can see how the X-rays hang around once they get here into our atmosphere. Our atmosphere kind of disperses them and kind of absorbs it, but it does take a few minutes, a few hours actually. So, you know, this is what we look for when we talk about radio blackouts. Ham radio operators, first responders use this as their main means of communication. Okay, I find it interesting that, you know, we haven't seen one get past 15 here on the DB right here. And now we're 35 and probably higher. It maxed it out. So I don't know exactly how high that got. Now I know we could probably go to some other website, but I don't know which website to go to get that info yet. Again, I seen this and I was like, man, I'm just going to go ahead and go live because people are going to want to see it. They're going to want to know what's going on, because I guarantee you here within about a half hour to an hour, anybody in this genre of research that's paying attention whatsoever is going to be out here talking about this. This is big space weather news. Okay? There's no way, there's no question. This is something that you know, a lot of us have been talking about, could happen, whatever. It's not, again, I don't want to make it sound like it's catastrophic. This is just very, very, well, it's the most significant space weather news we've had in over a year, as far as actually seeing results here on our planet. So, again, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So what we're going to do, you're going to watch what I do. And I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible so you guys can just, you know, see this and then get, you know, go do your day or whatever. So what I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do is we're going to look at the geoelectric field model also. This is us here in the United States. Oops, that was the, Well, obviously that hasn't updated yet. There's not enough time yet for that thing to do that. The geoelectric field model, this would be the United States. Okay, I'm sorry I can't show anything else because I simply just don't have anything else to show you guys. That's all we can look at here as far as this kind of data. So let me play this. My guess is on the end of it, we're probably going to see some sort of a bump. But again, this is geoelectric. This is not X-rays, but this will show effects if we're having any. This is space weather's effect on our electrical grid. Okay, artificial electrical components, transformers, wires. Now you can see that we really didn't have much of a bump here. And the reason why, there's a couple reasons. Again, everything I just said, plus the location. If this had been, I don't know, 6-10 hours later, the pinpoint would have been here. And if you take this arc and just simply move it over, that would have inundated our whole country. There would have been radio blackouts. There already is. I guarantee it. You know, you see where this is hit. This is affecting, you know, this part of Africa, this part of South America. It's stretching on up, guys. Even the green. The flare I showed you earlier didn't even have green in it. So the green itself is actually stretching up, you know, looks like to about England there. So this would have been, you know, substantial in a very highly populated area. Guaranteed. Now, I don't know what, you know, this stretches all across the whole South America, all of Africa, going into Iran, a little bit of Mexico here, even the United States some here, guys. That's why when I showed you this, watch where the action is. It's going to be over here on the end of this. Here, I'll just pause it and drag it over and show you. Okay, you see that? Nothing over here on the west coast, but here you're seeing a little bit of something. And that right there is why. So, what we're going to do now, we will, let's go over here and look at seeds. I don't know if this is updated yet. We're going to see. Nope. If you look at that, that's UTC time. And it's going to be 3 or 4 hours before that shows up on here. Okay? Now, we may be able to see the extreme ultraviolet, but before we go there, I'm going to take you here. See, it's not showing nothing here. But let's look at stereo A. Same thing. We don't have enough data there yet. Again, guys, I'm out here really, really early doing this. I seen it right when it happened, so I popped on here. Does this affect the Schumann? You know, that's a good question. Typically, probably not a whole lot. Again, geomagnetism with charged particles would affect that more. Because it actually will, you know, bounce off the particles and stuff and cause that movement of magnetism, which definitely does change frequency. Now, X-rays, I'm not so sure the effects of that when it hits our atmosphere as far as its effect on frequency. I have to research that out a little bit. So, what we're going to do here, trying to figure out what I want to do here real quick. Again, guys, I'm sorry I'm just popping on here like this without being set up, but I didn't want to, because I really need to go get some sleep. So I'm at least going to pop out here and show you guys what's actually happening. And then we'll, you know, like I said, we'll move from there. Hey, Jarrett, how you guys doing? I hope everybody in there is fine, by the way. I hope you guys are having a good day, and you know, good morning anyway. I do want to, like, stress the fact here, guys. There's nothing to be afraid of, okay? At all. Even if it was going to be a massive flare, we can't be afraid of it. We just got to be able to be aware and react. Back at you, lower. Back at you. So what we're going to do, again, I'll go here and we'll try to see if we can't, if this thing, I think it has updated. Look, it's this one over here. I can tell you that right off the bat. That most definitely is the flare. Yeah, we don't see that bright. Oh my goodness gracious, that's a big one, boys. Woo-wee! Wow. Now, what was I saying just a few minutes ago? I think this is that active region that blew really big off the backside with that big halo CME. Okay, this is that same active region if I'm not mistaken. So what does that mean? Well, that means that it's heading to be Earth facing eventually, right? If it doesn't dissipate or disintegrate or just kind of lose its characteristics. But this thing is close to cresting the limb, or we wouldn't even be having the x-rays from it, because the sun would block that light from getting here, that x-ray. So you have to understand that part of it. So it's Earth facing enough that we've seen it on our tools. This impacted us. So remember the X pattern I was telling you about, right? That's indicative of any kind of solar flare. So let me zoom in here, and we'll take this a little at a time so you guys can see it. So let me do this, and now watch this, okay? It's going to be right over here, obviously. It's going to be easy to see. Okay, look at that. Now, that right there, that is an ejection. I can't tell you how big it was because a lot of it's probably still on the other side of the sun. So we keep going forward. Now the sun recaptured most of that. You see that? See how it went up? Like that? And then this is interesting because you see that? Now watch what looks like it may have reversed some sort of polarity right there, because I'm going to go the same direction. I'm going forward. I'm still going forward. Now watch it go the other way. See how it starts rotating the other way? Let me back it up. So it starts here. We go here. It's rotating clockwise. Now watch what happens here. Now it's counterclockwise. And back to the sun. I just think that's all kinds of cool. You know, it's cool to look at. Now, that's not wind, guys. That is definitely a magnetic connection. And plasma is charged particles, charged gas. And it went back down to the sun via that magnetic connection. That's what you've seen right there. Nah, it's not a system glitch. Of course, I'm not sure what basis you're talking about there. Look, it did it again right there. So now if we keep moving, now look here. This was the 1149. I think I showed you guys this at the end of my stream earlier. I think that was there. So let me keep moving forward. Oh my good night. Wow, look at that. Holy smokes. Woo! Look at that sucker. Guys, listen. Do you know why you see that grainy stuff right there? That is exactly what happens when this thing just completely bombards the satellite. Look at that. Holy smokes. Now, let me say this. It looks like there was a CME with that. It may have been a CME first. I don't know yet. Now, this is showing you guys that X pattern I'm always talking about. You see the hash lines here? How they form an X right where that was at? And then you get the lines going straight from the middle, up and out. And then looks like we may even have another ejection right here. I'm going to follow this through. Okay, it look... Wow, guys, it's doing it again. Notice this. I'm going to back this up. Okay, we get this. Look. That right there is plasma leaving the sun. That is a CME. You see how it just busted out, and then the flare is right there. Then it dies off. Now watch what happens. Okay, it looks like it went out there, did its thing. And then it's still doing it. Whatever's happening there, I mean, look at that. Wow, guys. This is impressive. Was not expecting to see that. Yeah, not afraid. I'm impressed. At all. But look at that. This go across the sun. It's almost like it's split in two. So, let's look at a couple other views here too. Let me back this off a little bit. I do want to give you guys like an overall picture of what this looks like. Now, when these things happen right on the limb of the sun, it actually gives us some really cool pictures, imaging. It seems to show up better right there. I'm sorry, but that looks like it. Look, let me show you guys this. Look. When it first happens, what do we get? We get an X pattern here, right? Just one. Now watch what happens. You see that splitting in the middle? That's odd. All kinds of crazy. So we're gonna have to watch that thing for sure. Again, guys, if you're getting radio blackouts and stuff right now, this is why. This is the biggest one we've had, like I said, in probably 2 years. So, to give you guys some other look here, let's see what we got here. Now remember, Seeds hasn't updated yet, so we can't see if, what the CME itself is doing, and we definitely can't tell what direction it's moving. But what I can say, it's indicative if it's sitting over on that side of the sun and it hadn't breached the limb of the sun yet, like come completely Earth facing, that most likely did not come at us. Unless, like I said, if that plasma loop busted out, sometimes they'll flip like that, and it'll change the angle, so it could, some of that plasma could come this way. But I don't think the brunt of that is going to hit us head on. It may not hit us at all except for the X-ray. The plasma is going to be a lot more pinpointed. X-ray light goes out in all directions from the get. Okay? It is more pinpointed, where the most intense part, where its eyes looking. But other than that, we can't say that the plasma from that ejection is actually going to hit us yet. Can't say that yet. Because we don't know. So let me do this too. I guarantee you anybody that's got those alerts, their phone is just going crazy. I thought it was, lower class here says, plasma is tricky. Well, watch what the plasma does. Watch it go across the surface. It actually come around the limb of the sun, came over here, and went off the sun. See that? See how it flicked? That's what I mean about it. We don't know what direction that went. It could have made it across the limb of the sun, and then it comes at us. Now, I'm going to be interested to see what happens here. That's odd that that's splitting in two like that. I'm just wondering if we didn't have like a flare right here and a CME, and then it caused another like sunspot next to it to go ahead and erupt also. That's happened before. It just destabilizes everything in the same area. But I do think this is that same sunspot that blew off the back of the sun that everybody was talking about. It was the biggest one that we had seen. I mean, it was a full halo. And this would be too. But again, I think the biggest danger we got to look at here is if that CME part is coming at us. That would be for me worse than what we're seeing here with the X-ray. And again, this will show you how fast that stuff moves too. Watch. Okay, it leaves the sun right there, right? That hits the satellite. That's why you're seeing that grainy looking stuff. How many minutes was that? 48? About 8 minutes. Just like I said. Yeah, it's crazy. But that secondary action we're seeing there, that's just wow. I don't even know what to say. How much energy is that? Well, like I said, we're talking about X-rays. And that, you know, if we go back here, see if that, let's update that real quick. Now, again, guys, look what we're seeing here. Absolutely no change in density or solar wind speed, because that is not solar wind. It's purely X-ray that we're getting impacted with at this second. Okay? But yeah, it looks like that's dropping back down. Yeah. So, I don't know what that secondary thing is. If that's going to be just as strong or whatever. But I would be highly cautioned right now to see if something else is going to happen. Now, like I said, I do think a CME came with that. But I don't know if that's it coming at us. We can get X-rays from the flare itself and not get any part of the CME. That happens. That's why it's important to know the difference. When lower class said that in here earlier, asking that question, what's the difference between a solar flare and a CME? It's important to know that. You have to know it. So watch it over here again, okay? This is a different view. What does that remind you of right there? That big one that blew off the sun when it was on the backside. This one might even be bigger. I'd really appreciate it, guys, if you guys would share this video real quick, this live stream. Let everybody see this. I mean, that's just all kinds of crazy. Now, let me look over here, because I was looking at the other side of the sun, too. Remember what I said about when we get CMEs, like here? A lot of times we'll get a second one over here, shortly after. So let's see if that's actually happening. I don't know if it is or not. It would be over here somewhere. So let me back this up. And we'll watch the whole time lapse here. Okay, here's the initial CME over here. Or solar flare, whatever you want to say. Both, really. That's big, guys. I'm sorry. Wow. So, now look at this. Now look at the other side of the sun. It erupted too. That's erupting right now. Like I said, guys, I don't know why more people don't talk about that. Because it happens a lot. And I've not seen any scientific papers on that. I'd be interested to know if that's actually a phenomenon. I see it all the time. And like I said before, we usually get a bigger one, and then 180 degrees on the other side, we'll see one slightly smaller or one about the same size. That's exactly what you're seeing right there. Notice how this one pops off first, just barely, and then the one on the other side starts. Yeah, we'll see the end of it. It's going to be an hour or two before we get some good data on that. Can't do nothing but show you what I got, guys. I wish I could, wish this stuff was real time, but it's not. This is probably as close to real time as you can get on SDO. Some of the other SDO sites, they'll show you stuff that's got like a 4 or 5 hour delay, and this does too a little bit, but not as much. So, what we can do, let's look at, I do got an idea here. Let's see if it shows up here. Well, I can tell you right now it's not. That says at 9:12. What time did this thing pop off? That's at 13. Yeah, at 12 something there. So this thing is 3 hours behind it. Sucks. My guess is, guys, they shut these things off sometimes, but I don't think they would for something like this. I don't know, but yeah. It's kind of crazy. Lasco C3, probably not, because this is on the same satellite. Yeah, it's the same timestamp, so we're not going to get any info from that right now. Let's look at well, I guess we can look at our magnetosphere and see if it hit that at all, and see if it affected us magnetically even at all. Again, sorry, this ain't like already ready to go. I just popped on here as soon as I seen it. Yeah, an M4. That's about what it was like either I think I said a 6 maybe, but guys, that looks like that flare. I don't think it was though. That was actually that increase we seen earlier. Wow. So let's take it to the time of the flare. Maybe. But do you see what I mean? That solar flare did not have a big effect on our magnetics. What will have the biggest effect is if that CME with the solar flare comes at us. That's when we're going to see that. Yeah. I don't know, guys. I guarantee you there's probably 5,000 channels out there now. I looked before I came online, and wasn't nobody in my subscription list saying anything at all. I just got lucky and seen it when it first happened. I'm talking within like 10 minutes. Always check stuff before I go try to lay down. Yeah, I don't think it's going to show us any of that. Guess we can look at the magnetic lines here. But again, guys, I don't ever ask you guys to share videos, but I really would like people to share this one, because I really think that it's important for people to see this kind of stuff. Thanks, Monica. I appreciate that. Yeah, not a whole lot there, guys. I mean, again, it's just more proof to show you guys that a solar flare isn't magnetic issues, isn't geomagnetism. That's not what it is. Now, again, geomagnetism sometimes accompanies this with the eruption part of the CME that's usually with these kinds of things. I tell you what, guys, let's just look at all of the different angstroms. I bet this 304. See, that this will give us a better idea of how much the flare affected like a CME. This will show more of a CME because you'll see the filaments bust out. I should have went here first. I don't know why I didn't think about that. Wow. That's just crazy. I don't even need to change that one because that gives us like a capture every, I don't know, 15 minutes or something. These other ones are giving it to us every 4 minutes, so. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Sin. Our bow shock has nothing to do with X-ray. Our bow shock is simply where the solar wind meets our magnetic field. That's what the bow shock is. It's the point where our magnetic field runs into the solar wind. That's all that it is. And we're talking about X-rays, not solar wind. Look how, see guys, this is why I think that we're probably going to feel this a little bit magnetically here in a few days. Because watch this, in this particular 193 angstrom, you're going to see it go across the surface of the sun. Watch in here. See that? I mean, it goes across the whole surface. It's a big one, guys. And again, what if that was right here? What would we be talking about now? Because the detectors we're using to kind of get a good gauge on this, we don't have as much data collection on that side of the sun as we do right in front of us. So, you know, this actually could be, I guess technically, a little bit stronger than what we're even feeling. Because that M-class reference is conditions at Earth. Well, at the satellite, which is, yeah, pretty much Earth, is what I'm saying. But this isn't catching all the energy. Because this isn't fully Earth-facing. I still find it interesting we got a split right there. That's odd. That may be a solar vortex. Yeah, that's what that is. Okay, maybe it ain't split. Maybe it's just that solar vortex giving us an optical illusion. That's a tornado on the sun, guys. All that is, it's not wind either. Remember that. It's charged particles following a vertical magnetic connection. Then they spiral when they go up and down it. Okay. So, let's look at the 304. Man, thing's still updating. Sometimes it gets stuck, and you got to do that. You got to reset it. So again, this is where that would be. Wow, look at that. But remember, all that went back to the sun. You can see it. It goes right back. Yeah, guys, some of that left the sun. So, you know, we're going to have to wait. And then we had this one here, too. Wow. Something else we can do. Now what? Well, not a whole lot, guys. Like I said, there's not a whole lot we can do to change any of this stuff. We can't do anything, actually, to change it. And this is why it's important to understand that we need to prepare whatever we need to prepare. Because if we did have to take some sort of action, it's too late if you ain't ready. And, you know, like I said, this is not an X flare, okay? This is not a catastrophe. All that it is, it's a very, very significant space weather story right now, because that is a sizable flare for any time in the sun cycle, number one. Number two, like I said, it's probably the biggest flare we've seen since, oh gosh, I'd have to go back and research it, but over a year at the very least. And for it to happen this early in the sun cycle is kind of I don't know. I'd have to look at the data on that too and see what the likelihood of that is. Hey Hilly, what's up? Ricky, good to see you in here. George, what's up, man? Axe, hey, Arizona's in here. Oh yeah. Fred, Mr. Random, Kim, just saying hi to everybody. Frequency Revolution, what's up? Rainy, 222, Deborah, Stephanie, Amanda, how you? Forever Strong, awesome. Jan, Keeps Digging 7, that's a cool name. Havoc, there you go. We're seeing some havoc right here. Missy, I already said hi to you. Renee, I said hi to you too. Hey, hey, hey. Wish I could sit here and talk. Hey, Daniel, what's up? Yeah, it's guys, this is a significant event, okay? Like I said, I was letting you guys know, like, right off the bat. I seen this when it happened. You know, and what I've said like this before, it's not important to be the first one out here, but I wanted you guys to see the process that I do when I see stuff like this before I even come online. So I went ahead and did everything, in front of you guys. So you guys see see what I do. And, hopefully I might help people be able to research it a little bit better when it happens, and they can, decide for themselves. Now, again, we're going to have to wait and see what happens here, because we could flare again, any of that. But there's something else I do want to show you. Now, the CME detector tracker has not updated yet, so I'll just take that off of there. Seeds, we're probably not going to get much of anything from this yet. That thing stops at 800 hours, so we're not going to get nothing from that. Thanks, Jerry. I appreciate that. Hey, Ellie. So let's stereo A here, okay? Again, we're not getting to the timestamp. And this is why I say it's going to take some patience. Again, we got days before if the CME is coming at us before it gets here. And then if we're going to talk about a solar flare, by the time I can get on here and talk to you, it was here and gone. So you see what we're saying here? There's no reason not to be patient. But I wanted to show that to you. I'm going to go lay down here in a few minutes. So I want everybody to be, aware of what this is. I would assume, I bet I could. Let's do this real quick just to show you. Let's I'm curious. Let's go to my subscriptions and just see. Maybe not. Nobody's out there yet talking about it. The only ones live right now on my subscription list is right here. Live Meteors and Patricia here. Let's go to Live Meteors real quick. See all that? Those are little meteorites it's picking up. This is live, by the way. It's a good site, guys. I go here when we're seeing stuff just to check it out. It's a good data reference for sure. Oops, didn't mean to do that, but oh well. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna back this off a little bit, and we're gonna go look at stereo A, extreme ultraviolet, and see what it has to show us. Because this is going to give us a dead-on view of it. Right here. Oh, I'm sorry. No. Over here, I think. It might be that one even. Anyway, let's, I guess it could be that one. Mark's channel? You talking about Mark Pyers? Yeah, I can post that here in just a minute. If you need me to, lower class. Wow. See, there it is. Look. This is it right here. You're going to get a front side view of this thing. Check this out. This is that spot that was over here that erupted. So, yeah. Like I said, guys, I told you if it survived long enough, we could be having issues with this thing. Look at that, guys. Right here. I'm going to zoom in. Remember, this is the view from stereo A, okay? So it's going to happen from this sunspot. I'm calling it a sunspot. It may not have an official number yet until it gets in front of us, but look at everything just training. We can expect this. It's not going to slow down. I said that a million times already. Look at that, guys. Wow. That's a big one, guys. I mean, and it does look like there's a CME with it. So we're definitely going to have to watch this. Where's Baby Yoda? Man, I forgot again. Cosmo. Wow. No, this wasn't last night, Marie. This is right now. And, you know, to give you guys reference, and I did this for you guys before. Let's just do it again. Okay, this is the one that erupted. It's from the side, stereo A, right? This one's from our view. It's right here. So let me, so that's there. So that tells you, you know, like I said, this doesn't have far to come. This little one here is right here. This one here is this big one right here. So, you know, we're not like right, this here is closer to, you know, it's kind of in the middle of the two, the bigger ones. But this is the one that blew the flare right there. I mean, you can just see, you can see the full halo right there. I mean, you can see it just traveling. And the same with this over here on the 171. You see the flare. You see the, yeah, the halo. Bam. You can see it just covered up on this side. It's amazing. And we got this opening up over here. Tell you what, let's update that, see if we got anything new. We got a couple more captures here. Boom. And that did eject over here, guys. That's another sunspot that was Earth facing. Still kind of is. So you know, what I would look for, guys, I would look for a lot of the sun just to become destabilized in that area. It already is, obviously. Do the X-rays kill bacteria? I don't know. X-ray, guys, is exactly what you're going to see if you guys go get a chest X-ray or an X-ray of your arm, your leg, whatever. That's exactly what we're talking about here. They're X-ray. It's part of the light spectrum. It's radiation. So that's, you know, like I said, that is, I would assume it could kill some bacteria. I'm not sure how much. Because I know that they can use radiation to kill certain bacteria, obviously. But also, guys, remember when I was showing you guys earlier, in my earlier live stream, right before that volcanic eruption, and we can look at that again real quick too if you guys want to see it, for those that missed it. That was 50,000 feet tall, roughly about 15 kilometers, which translates to about 9.5 miles high. I showed you guys this, you know, but we got that other flare almost right in this same location right before. Plus we had the plates were moving around, but this eruption on this volcano happened in the same area the flare hit just about an hour later. So, you know, did the flare cause this? Absolutely not. Did the flare help? Maybe. It's part of the, you know, like I said, it's part of the formula. So, let's, so yeah. Yeah, let me show you. You mentioned that. The back anomaly. Let me show you something on that. It's not back. It's a different one. This sunspot here, guys, when it was back here, is the one that blew real big. This is a different sunspot. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of a, you know, when we seen that big one fire off back here, it was this sunspot, but it wasn't even here. It was actually even further back. Oh, the black anomaly. Okay, I'm with you. Oh, you talking about on the Enlil model? I haven't looked at that yet. I guess I could. Huh. I don't know. But do you guys see what happened here? The phi angle switched polarities. What that is, guys, is that's the polarity of the solar wind. The charged particles, they will flip polarities. That's what the phi angle is. It flips polarity. Yeah. You guys are killing me. I don't know what you're saying here, Sin. I mean, you talking about this kind of stuff? You're gonna have to help me out with what you're seeing, bud. I'm playing it. You get to show me what I'm looking at. See the black ball with tail symphony going on the sun. You talking about these little things blowing off here, like that? Could it cause a pole flip? No, lower class, I wouldn't think. I would think that it could instigate what was already happening, could make it go faster. Yeah, I'm alright, Lola. How are you? Well, first thing I want to say about this, then, on this particular view, we can dig into this and we can go look at this, but what I want to tell you is this is so highly pixelated. The definition on this is not good enough to hardly pick out anything that's of any kind of substantial information. Okay? If we're talking about this stuff going through the corona, what looks to be the corona, any of this stuff right here, those are just simply camera anomalies. It doesn't have the clarity that, you know, like what this does. See the difference? For everybody, you guys see the difference in that, right? Obviously. Now in a few days they may update the data on this and make it higher resolution and be able to see if there is any difference. If there's anything there to see. But we're going to always see things flying through the corona here because it's the way the camera interprets what it's actually seeing. If you look at this really, really close, everything is a box. Okay? It's just like your TV. The dark patch down here? You talking about that? If you're talking about the north and south pole of the sun on any of them, I can explain that to you real quick too. Okay. So that's what you're talking about, right? You're talking about these darker patches that you're seeing on the North Pole, South Pole, and it's showing up down here on stereo A, right? This thing right here. Just so I got you. Okay, well, the north and south, first thing we got to realize is that what we're looking at here is just simply the 195 angstrom. That's the only part of the light spectrum we're seeing right here. The north and south pole of the sun keep coronal holes. They do not go away. I mean, I see little things like skipping by here and stuff, but what I'm trying to tell you is that that's not really anything other than the way that the camera is interpreting this data. Because if that was something significant to look at, we should be able to see it on the other here also. That's SDO though, but we can go to stereo A. Let me show you something here, and I'll show you what I mean. See, if we wait, this is the 284. Okay, you guys see how much better this capture is? But the reason why we don't use it is because it has a 3-day lag. If we come back to this same day in 3 days, you're probably not going to see a whole lot of anomalies there. I'll start this up and we can look at it and see what we get. Let me, I'll just take it back, I don't know. Well, we'll just take it back the full way. Remember, this is our view from the side. This is not SDO. Notice that this says 284. See the color of it? It's yellow. This is SDO. This is the 171. Yellow. They assign these things colors. That's not its actual color. So, let me grab that. It's moving kind of fast. Yeah, I guess I'm just not seeing what you're seeing there, Sin. This is, like I said, this is 3 days old though, so it would be way over here somewhere. But we absolutely cannot trust any kind of detail right here. That's just something we're not going to be able to do. Because it doesn't interpret the data, that well. And we also have to understand this is on stereo A. And stereo A has been out there since 2003. No, I'm just trying to help you. I'm trying to understand it myself, Sin. Don't think I'm coming, getting sideways here. Because if there is something to see there, I want to see it. If that's what you're saying right there. I guess what I'm saying here is that if it's going to show up in this angstrom, and you're talking about a shadow is caused by what? It's caused by a solid object moving through in front of something that has a light, and the shadow's on the other side. So, if it's a shadow, it would show up in every angstrom. It wouldn't be like right there on one angstrom only. It would be across all of them. Yeah, there's different light spectrums there everywhere on all the cameras and stuff. So I think I hope that helps people understand what I'm saying here. You know, like I said, if it's a shadow, it would be across every angstrom, because a shadow is caused by a solid object moving in front of some light, blocking it. So I guess you're saying they're cloaking in one specific angstrom? If they're trying to hide, the cloaking would be across everything. That's all I'm saying. In my opinion, you know. I don't see why they would just try to block out one angstrom. That wouldn't make much sense. But I get what you're saying there. And again, we got to scrutinize this. I love the fact you're scrutinizing the crap out of this. I do. I love that. I do the same thing, especially on certain things. I've just come to, you know, like I said, when I see this one, this is one I can't, you know, like I said, I don't want to try to get into too much detail on this one particular tool, because it's so, number one, it's way just, the definition on it. I guess the way I would explain this would be, you know, play an Atari game and then go play a PS5. That's kind of the difference we're seeing. And unfortunately, I wish they did, you know, I wish they had a little bit better technology there, but they just don't. And a lot of this, guys, let me say this too. When we're talking about shadows and any kind of light spectrum, anything we're talking about this, like here, these are not snapshots. This is data being put into, you know, a digital format. Essentially, what you're looking at is the camera's interpretation of the image. So that's why we have to always keep in mind that anytime that's happening, things can be altered, things can be changed, all that kind of stuff. And that's why we scrutinize it at all anyway. If it was 100% just like a 35mm camera, snap a shot and keep moving, then we could, you know, definitely look at some stuff there. But again, this is something, also, I would say this too. This particular camera here, or this tool, it gives you one capture every 10 minutes. If you're going to watch a video and watch things like pass through and back and forth and going through directions, you would have to, you know, most things that we look at, like it's going like at 60 frames per second. You're getting 60 captures per second instead of one capture every 10 minutes. So even seeing things travel through this thing is almost, yeah, you almost can't, just on this one. Now, if we're going to talk about this one over here, you know, this is like a different ball game. And I guess before I quit talking about that, and I do appreciate that, Sin, I really do. I'm glad you're scrutinizing it like that. I want people looking at all that stuff. I really do. If we zoom in here, I'm going to show you guys something. On any of this. Do you guys see this, how blocky all this looks? That's cool. Yeah, I'll look at any link you send me. But you see how blocky this is? It's because of that. That's actually your pixels. That's why it's so chopped up like that. I think what they do on the stereo tool, they'll take this same data and they'll put it into a higher definition tool, and they'll kind of clean it up. We may even be able to go back a few days on this one and see that. Let's try that. I'm curious. I'm not sure if they do that or not on this tool. They do that on other tools, I know that. Let's go back. I don't know. It don't really matter, I guess. Let's just go back to last week. Apply that. See what we get. You see how they cleaned it up? Immediately you can see how it's a little bit better. It's still not as good as what we got over here on SDO, but do you see how they cleaned that up a little bit? It's not as grainy. So yeah. Well, I'm just speaking just to the, the definition of it all. That's all I'm speaking to there. We can definitely pick out, objects and stuff and just about anything we want to look at. So, let's go see if we can't get some updated info on this, and then I'm going to go ahead and get off here in just a few minutes. Let me go here first. Let's do a reset on that one. So it looks as though that did flare and it came back down. The X-rays right as we're speaking are back down into sea level. So that's that's a good thing, guys. It's not a bad thing at all. You can see where the BZ itself kind of went a little bit crazy. The temperature started jumping around a little bit. Looks like the density did some too, but not a whole lot. The triangle definitely did a pole flip there, a polarity flip. So let's go down here and look at this. You can see where this is still, this is us absorbing all those X-rays. And you can see where it's still pretty intense. That's where we're at currently. That in itself will cause radio brownouts, blackouts, and everything else. So, yeah, I mean, it definitely is something that is crazy. Man, I'm glad you said something, Sin, because I love to see people doing that. I mean, that's awesome. You're doing research. It's great. I can't even. Yeah, it's awesome. I would, like I said, any links you guys send me, I when I get the time and when I can look at them, I do. I don't just like throw them off to the side. Sometimes I gotta, put them on pause for a minute till I can get to them. Because guys, I can't get to everything, but I can get to quite a bit of things. So I try. So if you notice, this yellow R-1, last time I showed you this here where it says latest observed, it was yellow. Now it's not. So that means it's come back down into, that kind of a range, back into an R0. We were into an R1, almost an R2. You can see that. If it had gotten just a smidge bigger, smidge stronger, we'd have been in R2 territory. So, and what's the R2 mean? Hold on a minute. I think I pulled that. Let me see. Nope. That is that's another thing, guys. We're going to talk about that here in my next video. This is not a great thing that's happening here. They're picking up, guys, they're talking about 75% increase in certain areas of UV. What have we been talking about? Plants and stuff being burnt in weird ways, all kinds of crazy stuff. These are the professionals that are now, they're talking about this, doing their studies. This is an official abstract, peer-reviewed type of stuff. Okay? So, I mean, yeah, ozone, that's where it's at. And they're, this is what they're talking about. We'll go more into this, but I actually really didn't mean to show you guys that yet, but it was up there, so I'll talk about it for a second. Let's see what we can get as far as update here. Again, remember, this is the bigger ejection. We had a second one over here. See that? So, let me say this one more time. We just got lucky. Okay? We dodged another bullet. Hey, Russell. And, guys, we didn't take that flare head on. Okay? Remember the points of view I just showed you guys. Let's take a look at them again. I really want to hammer this home because I want you guys to understand what we're talking about and why it's important to know when stuff's Earth facing. So this right here is the sunspot that flared. Okay, see how far it's off to the left? This is the same sunspot. So this was not on the Earth-facing side. This was a sideways hit of X-ray. And to show you a little bit more in depth, right here, you're going to see the CME and the part of that actually roll across the surface of the sun about this far. So if you're looking at it from the other side, it would look like a full halo. I guarantee you that was a full halo. We're going to have to wait, unfortunately, to get that data in here, but yeah. So let me show you that. Now watch, here's the one that ejected, right? And flared. Okay, so let me back off of that and let you guys see that what I'm talking about as far as the it's going to get what looks to be like foggy right here and kind of go that way across the whole surface. I hope you guys can see that. I know it's hard to see because it is. I see it almost right away because I look at this stuff constantly. So let me update this one more time, and then we'll take a look at this and see what we got. Okay, look at that. See how that's just like... Man, that is so cool. Look at that. That is so awesome. I've never seen a sunspot do that. A flare do that. What looks to split in two and then kind of come back to the middle. I mean, we've even got two separate X patterns. Wow. What are you doing? Wow. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah. Let's check out seeds one more time. .848 is the last capture on that. Not giving us anything there. Let's go back to here. Check out SDO. Oh, check it out. It's there. Check it out. Here we go. Awesome. Look at this sucker. Whoa. Man. Look at that. crazy. That's a big one, boys and girls. Notice that it jumped time. 9 UTC all the way to 14. We got 5 hours right when that flare happened, but we don't get to see. Unless, let's try this. Hold on a minute. What? Not working? Really? Okay. Alright, let's see if we got anything here. Let's do this. Hold on a minute. Let's see if it's got a movie for us. Didn't give us nothing. Anything? Anything? Nope. Wow. Well, let's see if it'll take us back and if it'll let us go back at all. Maybe SOHO movie theater? I don't know. C2? Okay, let's try this one. 29th. Generate. Oh. Okay. It stopped too. It ain't giving it to us yet. Alright, well, guys, I can't do much more than that. You know. So yeah, guys, big flare. I'll give you guys updates a little bit later on tonight. And today, I plan on going to Mark's channel. Somebody asked me to put that in the chat. Did anybody do that? Yeah, the flare was an M4.4. Yep. Yep. So, I'm going to go ahead and get off here, guys. I'll try to come back and give you guys another... Oh, thank you, Axe. Thank you for putting Mark's link in there. You're welcome. Russell, thank you, man. Thanks for being here, bud. Good to see you. Me? I'm in Eastern time zone, bud. So it's about 10 a.m. I haven't been to bed yet. So, so I'll probably, guys, listen, hey, IG. You know what, guys? Before I get off here, let me check and see if we had any updates on any of the earthquake activity. Let's check that real quick. Taiwan had a 4.9. Huh. Okay. So yeah. And again, guys, none of this is anything to be scared about at all. Absolutely nothing. Okay. I just happened to check it before I was going to go lay down, and I seen we had, you know, one of the biggest flares we've had in a long time, and it had a CME with it. I think it looked like it blew some, and also on the other side of the sun, roughly about the same time, just a little bit after, there was a smaller ejection. It looked like, but again, we don't have all the data in yet, so I don't want to say anything's coming at us other than what we've already seen. Okay. Thanks, lower class. I appreciate that, bud. I'm not going to jump out here and say that stuff's coming at us if I don't think that it is. You know, I am just, yeah. So, I'll wait for the data to come in. And probably what you guys are going to see on YouTube, you're going to see a bunch of people jump out here and start making grand claims of stuff that's going to happen that are probably not going to, because you can't claim anything unless you're going to see the data first. Now, I can give you my opinion. And I'll give you my initial opinion and why. Okay? The flare, it already gave us some activity here on our planet with X-ray. We've seen it. It ionized our atmosphere in that spot. It still continues to do so. But it's just X-rays. If there was, and it looked to have some sort of an ejection with it, that sunspot was far enough on the side that I don't think that the CME part of it, number one, if it does give us any kind of a hit, it's not going to be direct. Number two, I don't think it's going to, because of the angle of where it was at. It had not crested the limb of the sun yet. Now, like I said, we've all seen plasma filaments flick out at weird directions and angles. So it's all about that, depending on where that plasma actually left the sun and what angle it did. And just judging by the initial there, I don't think that that's going to come at us. So, you know, that's a good thing, because something that large, you know, could give us some issues. Nothing catastrophic, but it would be something that we haven't seen in a while, I would think. And again, remember, I think this is the same sunspot that had the big eruption earlier last week. It was just all the way on the backside then. I just think it's, you know, like I said, guys, we were looking at stereo A on the extreme ultraviolet, and it's amazing that thing is even still out there. That thing is so old and it's been exposed to so much. It's amazing it gives us any data at all. I mean, it's crazy. You know, it doesn't have a magnetic field to protect it like the Earth does. It's exposed straight to all that solar weather. That includes the tools and the cameras that are on it. That's why we see a lot of the anomalies that we see, because a lot of them are just simply scratches here, there, whatever. You know, there are just anomalies. That's it. And I just don't want people to forget the fact of how old that equipment actually is. But it is good. It's good equipment. We still get good data from it. So that's where I'm at with that. Yeah. You know, the surge protector, yeah, that's a good, but remember with the surge protectors, guys, you're going to get what you pay for. It's got to trip out fast. If it doesn't trip out fast, it's not going to help you. But I don't see that this flare is going to do that. You know, if the flare itself was going to do it, it would have already done it. But the CME afterwards, again, I don't think it's going to hit us directly, if it hits us at all. But I'm not going to make that claim. We'll wait for data to come in, and I'll come back to you with a little bit more of a conclusive type of report, I guess, if you want to go down that road with it, that has a lot better of data in it, updated stuff that we can look at and really pinpoint. One thing we can look at again before we get off here, to see, just by chance, to see if the CME tracker has done anything. I will say this too, on the weekends, because a lot of these things are ran at colleges, these sites, sometimes they don't get updated until late because of that. Yeah, it looked to see an eruption. Thank you for pointing that out, Nibby. Thank you. You know, and like I said, I think you can just kind of confirm what I was saying. We don't have any data on that CME yet. It's just going to be we're going to have to wait on it, guys. We got nothing to freak out about, because if it is coming at us, we got 3 to 4 days to talk about it. So don't worry about that at all. All right, guys. So anyway, God bless. Yahusha saves, and you can drink this